Hey guys, Dan for TheGamerShelter and welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to make kind of a freeform video about Insurgency Sandstorm because I've been playing it a lot lately and I think it's just a really underrated game and I wanted to talk about it and share it a little bit. I played it a really long time ago and I liked it, but I just haven't played a shooter really in a long time. I don't know why, I just stopped, probably due to frustrations. And lately I've been playing Black Ops 6 because it's on Game Pass. And you know, that's Call of Duty, so it can be frustrating. And I decided to start playing this again, and it's one of the best decisions I've made in a long time. This game is fantastic. It's one of the best first-person shooters out there. Like, maybe second to Hell Let Loose, and that's it. And the only issue with Hell Let Loose is, as I will mention a little bit later, I'm currently playing on Wi-Fi, and Hell Let Loose just doesn't run very well on Wi-Fi. It takes forever to join a server, and there are issues. And this game, I barely feel it at all. So yeah, I would probably give this game second place in best first-person shooters I've ever played. It's kind of crazy. So this is gameplay of Dave and I playing, you know, the classic TheGamerShelter duo. And I'm going to be cutting back and forth between our two views because this is actually taken from the match replay system built into the game. This is not like live gameplay. This is me going back into the recording that the game saves and recording each of our views and then editing them back and forth. That brings in some caveats that I want to get into in the game. For instance, there's going to be some weird frame stuttering and animation and audio glitches like grenades not making sounds and stuff like that. None of that's in the actual game. Same thing with the kill feed in the top right and the mind-blowingly useful minimap in the top left. Those are not in the game. The only thing that I see as a player while I'm playing is the compass and objectives in the bottom center there. All that I see, and I have it set to where I always see my fire rate as well on the screen, which you don't see in replay mode for some reason, but I constantly forget when I switch to single fire, so I have that on. But that is all you see while you're playing, and then there's some stuff in, you know, the top left talking about if the commander calls in artillery and stuff like that, but for the most part, that's it. So yeah, any frame stuttering and weird stuff you see is just from the recording. It is not in the actual gameplay. Just for a quick rundown on the game mode, we're playing Frontline right here, which is kind of a tug-of-war game mode. You see that our team started with A, B, and C. The enemy team started with E, F, and G. And D started not captured, it was neutral. Basically, the first team to capture that one goes on the offensive, and the other team is on the defensive, although those are just terms, they don't actually matter. The two flags closest to each other are going to be the attack and defense points. So like right now, we have D and they have E. So what that means is they are trying to take D and we are trying to take E. And the front line is going to keep changing as we capture flags. So if we take E, then all of a sudden they're going to be spawning on G to defend F, and we're going to be spawning on D to protect E and capture the opposite, right? Every time you capture an enemy flag in this game mode, you do gain one wave. That you'll see at the bottom there. So currently we have 12 waves left, and they have, what is that, 9? I can't really read that from here. So yeah, let's talk about why Insurgency is one of the best shooters ever made. It's a lot of little things, really, because it has all the big stuff, right? The graphics are good, the gunplay is fantastic, all that stuff that you need any shooter that you like to kind of have, right? But the little things compile like crazy. There's a lot of games that have little things that are good, right? You can look at any Call of Duty, any Battlefield, anything like that, and say they did this well, or they did this well. But the point of Insurgency Sandstorm is they did every little thing well. It's crazy. So I'm just gonna go through some lists that are, while mostly subjective, things that I think this game just blows out of the water with its quality. It has a loose-based class system, and what I mean by that is, like Hell Let Loose, like a lot of older Battlefields and stuff, you pick a class at the start of the game, and most of the classes are limited with how many people can be on it. Like, you can only have 2 marksmen per team, 2 observers, you know, I think you can have 1 commander, I'm not sure, maybe you can have 2 commanders, but regardless, they're all limited, except for the basic class of riflemen, which is infinite. Right? A lot of games have done that kind of thing. This game does it, but it's not The only thing that you're losing by selecting certain classes, for the most part, is just which guns you have access to, right? So if you want to run an SMG, you can't be a rifleman. That just makes sense. And they do that for balancing reasons. You don't want 30 snipers on your team. It will ruin the game. You don't want, you know, a bunch of LMGs or submachine guns and stuff like that, because it just ruins the balance and flow of the game. So there are classes, but they're truly just in there to limit the gun, how many of a certain gun teams have. And I think it feels really good. There's also team weapons in the game, which again is pretty basic. The insurgents have access to the AK. The security team has access to the M4. You know, that kind of stuff is in the game. It all feels extremely well balanced for the most part. I'm sure there are little things that are like, oh, well, the Insurgents MP5 is much better than the Security MP5. Like, that stuff probably exists, but then there's an example in the opposite direction, right? Overall, I think the guns and the classes feel extremely balanced. It also works off a point-buy system, kind of like the old, like, what was it, Black Ops 2 or something had it, which is when you're building your class, everything costs points, and your class has a certain amount of points you can spend. So if you really want that rifle that you're good at, and it costs you 5 points, you know, that's like half your kit right there. You might not be able to run a sidearm or a second grenade, or you might have to lower your armor a little bit if you really want that sight on your rifle. And I think that this feels extremely well designed and balanced. Trying to get the correct setup that is best for you is not only, like I said, balanced, but I think really fun. Trying to figure out, okay, I can lose the compensator in order to gain this smoke grenade kind of stuff. It feels really good in this game, and it's fun to have a different get up for every class. If you need to play breacher or rifleman or observer, you can have different setups that complement that class best. In this game also, while we're talking about that, the equipment matters more in this game than maybe any other shooter I've ever played. It's kind of crazy how important a smoke grenade is in this game, or how important a gas mask is in this game. There's certain things that are less important than others. You know, going from light armor to heavy armor, I'm not sure is worth the point jump unless you're really going in there with a shotgun and hoping that to take one extra bullet, because in this game, you know, as you can see from the gameplay, you're dropping in 1 to 3 bullets every time, you know. So wearing that extra heavy armor, I don't know if it's worth it, but yeah, smoke grenades and stuff like that with the mines, it's crazy. And please buy gas masks. Not enough people buy gas masks. They're free if you're on the Insurgents team. Just have it in your kit. And on the security team, it costs 1 point to put a gas mask on, and it is insanely important for a reason we'll get to soon. The grenades work in a really cool way where you can overhand or underhand them to control your distance better. And then also, they're, again, just well done developers. They have this really smart system where if you're overhanding, it's left click, and underhanding, it's right click, right? I don't know what it is on console. But if you click the other button, you'll start cooking it, right? So if I hold left click and I draw my grenade out, it's not actually cooking, I'm just holding it. Then I can tap right click and it will make a little tick sound, and that lets me know that now it's cooking, and the vice versa. Just a very smart and intuitive grenade system that I don't think I've ever played before. Again, I'm not saying it's wholly original, I just personally don't have any experience with it. Along with those little animation things that are just intuitive and immersive, you have multiple little reload things that you can do that are fantastic. So yeah, guess what? You can reload your gun. That's very important. You can also hold the reload button, and your guy will just pull the mag out really quick and put it back in, and it will show you on your screen approximately how many bullets you have in that magazine. It's not going to tell you a number. That's unrealistic, but it'll show a little picture of a magazine, and it'll show approximately what percentage of that magazine is filled with bullets. And that gives you the information on whether or not you think you need to reload or not. Now, let's say you pull out that magazine and there's almost no bullets in it at all. It's very low. This game also has a quick reload system, where if you double click reload, your guy will, instead of putting the mag back in his chest carrier and putting a new mag in, he'll just throw the magazine on the ground and reload, which makes the reload animation slightly faster. It doesn't make it super speed like quick draw, or what is it? Whatever the one in Call of Duty is that lets you reload fast. It's not that ridiculous. It's slightly faster, but still, if you have an empty magazine, it's useless to take the extra, you know, half a second to put that back in your chest carrier. You might as well throw that on the ground. And also, it means you won't accidentally reload an almost empty mag later, you know, or a completely empty mag, you know. So it's just this little thing that helps with gameplay and is incredibly immersive and intuitive. They do a really good job with that. Also, as you'll be hearing throughout all this gameplay, the characters scream and they say things and they communicate, and all that is heard by the enemy team. So audio in this game is huge. Audio is king. Listening to hearing the enemy team say things, like sometimes you might want to throw a grenade in a room just to see if you hear anyone in the room yell grenade, because that will tell you if there's someone in there, how many people are in there, and you'll even be able to tell what direction they're in from the yell, you know, if you have a pair of headphones and stuff like that. This audio information is insane. Footsteps are so easy to hear in this game. And using that to your advantage is fantastic. Again, talk about the smoke grenades I brought up earlier. If you're not wearing a gas mask, you go through a smoke grenade, your guy coughs and like wheezes, and the enemy team hears that. And that's one of the reasons the smoke grenades are so useful in this game. Not only do they, you know, blind people, but using it just to see if you can hear people coughing around corners and stuff like that is huge. So again, please buy a gas mask. No one wears a gas mask. The amount of people that I have killed because I hear them in the next room going like, just put a gas mask on. And then also, you know, with them yelling, if they're calling in airstrikes or anything like that, which again we'll go into later, you hear all of that as the enemy team. What you also hear is proximity voice chat, which is huge. So the voice chat in this game is, you know, you communicate to your team, but any enemies within a close range will hear you as well. This gives away your position, this gives away your tactics and your plans. So being careful about your voice chat is huge. And not only that, it makes playing on Discord feel like it's cheating. like Dave and I were in a Discord call and I was genuinely feeling bad about it while we were playing, because there were multiple times that I would hear an enemy team and I'd be like, hey guys, there's someone in this building to the right of me, and they can't hear that. Like, that doesn't seem fair. So I kind of wish this game did like a built-in Discord system or something like that, like other games do, to try to fix this cool proximity chat system. As I mentioned earlier with airstrikes and commanders, this game does have a commander system which works in a very cool way. Basically, the commander has stuff he can call in a limited amount of times, like attack helicopters, smoke grenades, stuff like that. But in order to do it, he has to have an observer within 10 meters of him. And how it works is when you call something in with the commander, you pull out your binoculars, you point, and you say, hey, airstrike on this position. Your character will yell, hey, I need an airstrike on these coordinates, you know, that kind of thing. And then your observer will yell, copy that, we need airstrike on these coordinates. And then you'll hear over the radio, copy that, incoming airstrike. Like, all that happens. And so not only is that, you know, again, immersive and everything like that, but it's also kind of a balancing thing, because if the enemy can kill the commander or the observer before those orders go through, they won't go through. So if you hear a commander or an observer yelling orders, it kind of gives you that, you know, initiative to run and make sure they die really quick before they call in what the enemy team is going to need. Some more little things. This game has maybe one of the best sprint systems I've ever seen in a game. One of the most annoying things to me when I'm playing, again, I'll harsh on Call of Duty a little bit, I hate that you're a trained soldier and your guy runs for 10 feet and gets tired. I absolutely hate that. I understand it's for balancing. I understand the reasons, you know, map size and all that. I just hate it. It is a pet peeve of mine. In this game, you can run forever. Like, you can't actually run forever, but you can run for a very, very long time. The negative is the longer you run, your vision will start to become blurry, the color and sharpness will start to change, and also when you stop running, your accuracy will be messed up for a while. So while you can sprint to the objective, sometimes it's not in your best interest to, and it puts the decision in the player, in the player's hands instead of the game design's hands. Instead of, no, you're not allowed to run further than 10 feet, this game says, yes, you can, but you better be ready to put up with the consequences we have built in. And I think this is a fantastic sprint system. I'm like, almost every frustration Dave and I had while playing this game for, like, I don't know, 5 hours or something. We played it forever the other day. Almost every single ounce of frustration we had was to our team not pushing when they needed to push, or people, you know, that we're losing the flag and people are sitting with sniper rifles out on the side, or not even sniper rifles, but just like 4x scope on their rifles, just sitting out somewhere not doing anything. it's not the game, it's the players, and communicating helps. You know, once you actually start talking to the team, it does help. Evidently, bullets can ricochet in this game is another thing. I have never noticed it happen, but literally one of the tips in the game is be careful, bullets ricochet, don't kill your teammates. I love the developers of this game just for stuff like that, and for like the loading screen tips that will say like, don't stand in doorways, don't be a gaggle fuck, play the objective, or play something else. Like, they're amazing with their tips in this game. But before we get to the end of the game here, which is coming up, it's not perfect. The vaulting animation sucks in this game. You vault in slow motion, you can't vault anything higher than your waist. It's just not good. The game also only has like a 2,000 player average right now on Steam charts. Now, it is a fully cross-platform game since the crossplay update, so I don't have all the player numbers, of course, but I'm just saying 2,000 is getting low. The game is pretty old now and people are playing other things. That's not dead, but I'm hoping they're working on an Insurgency 3 because I would really like to see more of this. Another part of the reason that the player count might seem okay, but can get bad sometimes, is because the people love the co-op mode in this, just co-op versus AI, and that splits the player base a lot. Unfortunately, every custom server that I looked at the other day was co-op. None of them were PvP. And so that's cutting the player base down. Also, you can't mute during the end round stuff, and so you'll get people, like, literally playing like racist stuff during the end round that you just can't do anything about until the next round starts, and now you know, oh, this person's that kind of person, I'll mute them. So that can be frustrating, people taking advantage of that system. There's also KD players in this game that exist. I have heard people have the argument like, look how many kills I got, my team sucks. Literally, in not a single game mode of this game does that matter. Almost every single time, the person in first place did not have even like the top 3 or 4 most kills on the team, because you get way more points for playing the objective, stand close to the objective, capture an objective, kill people defending an objective. That's how you get points in this game. And so yeah, those players exist, and it can be frustrating, but again, that's not the game's fault, that's just society. Game modes are voted at the end of each match, which means that if you have a game mode you really like, but other people don't, you'll just never get to play it. And that sucks, but also, like, if more people want the other game mode, like, you're the one in the minority, so it does make sense to play the other game mode. But Ambush, I think, is one of the best game modes in the game, easily. It's kind of the search and destroy of this game. Like, there's a VIP that you have to protect. The video's about to end. And you just never get to play it. My last thing that I'll say is there are hit detection issues in the game, but I'm playing on Wi-Fi, and I just blame that. So, but yeah, guys, I don't know how much longer this game has in its life, but Insurgency Sandstorm is one of the best first-person shooters on the market, and you should really play it. So yeah, if you found this video helpful, please let me know. Like the video, comment, anything like that helps. And also, go check the game out. It was just on sale for $9 the other day on Steam. I don't think it still is, but it will go on sale again. Make your game library better. Get Insurgency Sandstorm. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.